What if the reason you feel bloated, tired, irritated, or just a little off starts in a place most people barely think about? For a lot of us, the gut seems pretty simple. Food goes in, digestion happens, and that's about it. But in reality, the gut is one of the busiest systems in the body. Think of it like a busy traffic system. Every single day, food, fluids, waste, bacteria, and chemical signals are all moving through it. When traffic flows the way it should, nutrients get where they need to go, waste keeps moving, and the whole system stays more balanced. But when that flow gets disrupted, slowed down, or pushed too fast, the effects do not always stay in the gut alone. In this video, we are going to explain gut health in simple terms: what the gut is, what supports it, what disrupts it, and what you can do to keep it working well. So, let's start with the basics of your gut. Understanding your gut. First, we'll clear something up. The gut is not just the stomach. It is not just where food goes after you eat. It is where food is broken down, nutrients are absorbed, waste is processed, and a massive amount of communication happens between the body, the immune system, and the brain. Now, for this entire system to work well, it needs the right kind of support. And no, it does not mean you should follow some strict food rules or become obsessive about every bite. The goal is simply to eat in a way that is more natural, more nutrient-rich, and easier for your body to handle. Let us explain. Number 1. First off, how you eat matters. A lot of people think digestion starts in the stomach, but it actually starts much earlier, in the mouth. When you eat slowly and chew your food properly, you are already helping the digestive process begin. You are breaking food down into smaller pieces, mixing it with saliva, and making the stomach's job much easier. At the same time, you are also sending a message to the nervous system to prepare for the upcoming food. That is why eating too fast can be such a problem. A lot of us eat while rushing, working, scrolling, standing, or thinking about 10 other things at once. And when the body stays in that rushed, distracted state, digestion does not work as smoothly as it could. There is a simple way to think about it. Your stomach has no teeth. So if you do not chew properly, the rest of your digestive system has to work harder to deal with food that was not prepared well in the first place. Number 2, less processed, more nourishing. A lot of gut problems today are not just about how much people eat, but what they eat. Highly processed foods put more pressure on the system. They are often loaded with sugar, poor quality fats, additives, and not much real nourishment. When that becomes a daily pattern, the gut has to keep dealing with food that is harder to work with. That is why one of the best things you can do is move back toward real, nutrient-rich foods like vegetables, fruit, legumes, nuts, seeds, and good quality fats. The same goes for animal products too. Quality matters, because the way an animal is raised and fed affects the quality of the food that ends up on your plate. The goal here is not perfection, and it is just about moving closer to real food and a little further away from the kind of food that keeps stressing the body every day. Number 3, diversity over monotony. One of the best things you can do for your gut is stop feeding it the same few foods on repeat. Your gut is home to many different kinds of bacteria, and different bacteria benefit from different kinds of plant foods. So, when your diet has more variety, your gut gets broader support. And in general, a more diverse gut tends to be a healthier one. So, when you're eating, add variety to your plate. Different fruits, different beans, herbs, nuts, and seeds. The more colorful your plate is across the week, the better it usually is for your gut. That is also why people often talk about aiming for around 30 different plant foods a week. It sounds like a lot, but it adds up quickly when you mix things up. Number 4, the bitter, the better. Bitter foods might not be everyone's favorite, but your digestive system actually loves them. That bitter taste acts like a signal to the body. As soon as your taste buds detect bitterness, your digestive system starts preparing for food by releasing more digestive juices. These help break down food more efficiently, making it easier for your body to process a meal and absorb nutrients. In fact, many traditional cultures intentionally included bitter foods at the beginning of a meal for this exact reason. The problem is that modern agriculture has gradually bred much of the bitterness out of foods to make them taste milder and sweeter. As a result, many people today rarely eat naturally bitter foods anymore. That's why adding some bitterness back into your diet can be helpful. Even today, some people use bitter drops or herbal bitters about 10 to 15 minutes before eating. These concentrated plant extracts are designed to stimulate digestive signals and help the stomach prepare for a meal. It might not be the most pleasant taste, but sometimes a little bitterness is exactly what your gut needs. Number 5. Feed the good bacteria. Your good gut bacteria love fiber, especially the kind your body cannot digest on its own. That fiber travels down to the gut, where the bacteria break it down through fermentation, and in return, they produce helpful compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs, mainly butyrate, acetate, and propionate. These help feed the gut lining, support immunity, and keep inflammation more under control. That is why prebiotics matter. They are basically food for your good gut bacteria, and you get them from foods like fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Number 6. The more, the merrier. So yes, fiber matters. The problem is, most people still do not get enough of it. Here are 2 really simple ways to fix that. 1. Add simple fiber helpers like psyllium husk, acacia fiber, or carob powder to your diet. 2. Use resistant starch. When foods like rice, pasta, or potatoes are cooked and then cooled, some of their starch changes form. It becomes harder for your body to digest, which means more of it reaches your gut bacteria instead. Sometimes, even leftovers end up helping your gut. Number 7. Probiotics to the rescue. Probiotics are live microorganisms, usually helpful bacteria or yeasts that help in stabilizing the gut environment. They can come from foods or supplements. They may help with things like diarrhea, IBS symptoms, and in some cases, even mood support. But here is the part people often miss. Probiotics only work well if the gut is ready for them. It is a bit like adding new fish to a dirty tank. If the environment is off, they are not going to thrive just because you drop them in. That is why probiotics are not some magic fix. Number 8. Fermentation for the win. Some foods do more than just fill you up. They arrive with help already built in. That is what makes fermented foods so interesting for the gut. During fermentation, helpful microbes begin changing the food before you even eat it. You can think of it like part of the digestive work has already started early. That not only makes foods easier on the gut, but it also introduces beneficial bacteria that can help support the gut environment. This is why fermented foods can be such a smart addition. They do not fix everything on their own, but they can help make the gut a friendlier place for the good bacteria you actually want more of. So things like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, and other fermented foods can be a simple way to give the gut a little extra support. Number 9. Gluten sensitivity. Now, here is where things get more personal, because some foods that seem normal on the surface can be constant troublemakers for certain guts. One is gluten. A lot of people eat it all day without noticing how often it shows up. Bread, toast, croissants, pasta, pretzels. Some people tolerate it fine, others do not. A small number of people have celiac disease, where even tiny amounts of gluten damage the intestine. Others have non-celiac gluten sensitivity, where gluten seems to trigger bloating, stomach pain, or diarrhea. One reason this may be happening more now is that modern grains contain compounds called amylase trypsin inhibitors, or ATIs, which may irritate the gut and promote inflammation. So if your digestion often feels off, a 4-week gluten-free trial can be worth testing. Number 10. Lactose intolerance. The second troublemaker for the gut is lactose or milk, which is another big trigger. Some people handle dairy perfectly well, others clearly do not. Sometimes the issue is a milk allergy, where the immune system reacts to milk proteins. Other times, it is lactose intolerance, where the body does not make enough lactase, the enzyme needed to digest milk sugar. The reason behind this is mostly the quality of modern dairy. Some milk now contains more omega-6 fats, fewer omega-3s, and more A1 casein, a type of milk protein that many people seem to tolerate less well than A2 casein. That does not mean everyone needs to cut out dairy completely. It is better to avoid large amounts of dairy, as smaller amounts are usually easier to handle. Also, do focus on the quality. Organic, pasture-raised, fermented, or goat and sheep dairy are often easier on the gut.